Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, we're taking a look at the alpha, and we're on the PlayStation 4. So I did an extended stream to showcase this, and I would have had the video out earlier, but I had a catastrophic SSD failure for my OS, so that's been a joy. Anyways, that entirely aside, because we're focusing in on this alpha. So this was an open alpha for players on PlayStation to get a feel of the game and what it's going to be like. Now, it is very much an interesting kind of move for the series. This is the cross-gen sort of release, so we're going to see this, PS4, we're going to see this PS5, we're going to see this Xbox One, and then Xbox Series X/S. So yeah, it's neat. So in my opinion, this is a bit of a regression in compared to the wonderful technology and evolution that was present in the most recent Modern Warfare. So with that, Infinity Ward had a brand new engine they've been developing for years. The one that just had this great wow factor to it in terms of visuals and smaller mechanics. And that's kind of out the door here, because this is Treyarch using Treyarch's engine, which makes sense. So they have made various upgrades, and I know it's just an alpha, but it's honestly a bit of a rough experience in my opinion. It doesn't quite feel as smooth or as good as Modern Warfare did, and it feels like a step back, We don't have those movable doors, the visual quality is significantly downgraded, there's less destruction in the environment, you don't have the contextual leaning, it just really doesn't feel quite as good, and that's very disappointing. So also with this being an alpha, the texture loading really needs to be worked on. Again, like I've been saying multiple times, don't get me wrong here, it's an alpha, things are going to improve, they're going to shape up and look better, hopefully, before the full release. And it's kind of weird because usually the Call of Duty, sort of early alphas and looks at the game experiences are typically, a lot higher quality because they're basically like demos for the game. But I guess it was also a sort of weird release for this one, right? It just kind of popped up. They said at their showcase, they're like, and here it's going to be available this weekend. And it's like, oh, cool, jump in on that. Check out some Call of Duty action, have a good time. Like, it's still fun, but I was kind of getting bored of it fairly quickly too. So you get a selection of maps, 3 traditional ones, and we're showing off each of the maps here in case you were wondering. You can click along kind of the chapters on YouTube if you want to see any of the particular maps right away. I won't be offended, it's fine, go take a look at them. So you get 3 traditional maps, and then you get 2 larger maps. So that's another thing that was a real disappointment here. I don't really like any of these levels. I don't like the map flow, and I don't really care for the design of them. I do like the pushback to older weapon types though, that's definitely something that was neat. But anyways, yeah, it's just, I don't quite like them. They don't feel as detailed or as quality as the Modern Warfare ones. I really like those because they were sort of realistic to a degree, you know what I mean? They feel like real places. And here it really kind of goes into the campy style of things. I mean, it's got that gritty Treyarch sort of style to it, but then again, the last Modern Warfare actually had a good amount of grit and sort of dark gameplay to it. And I really was hoping that Treyarch would push a little bit further. I mean, I think with the, native 4K and the 120 FPS options that we're going to see next gen and the ray tracing are really going to make this look fantastic. But at the same time, it's kind of like, it's not at the quality, and I don't think it'll ever reach that quality that, Modern Warfare had attained. That felt like a next generation game. I sat there at E3 behind the scenes in a theater, and the first time I saw Modern Warfare, I was like, wow! This feels like a next generation Call of Duty. This is amazing, and they're playing this on the consoles we have now? It's crazy. It was unbelievable. It was on PS4 Pro, it was the break-in terrorist house situation. I think the visuals were boosted up a little bit. But anyways, still, it was remarkable to see. And then you get to this, and it's like, yep, it's Black Ops all right. Definitely what we've seen before. And, I want that wow factor again, and this one just doesn't do that for me. And it's a little disappointing in that regard. Like, it's not bad by any means, but it doesn't feel as good, it doesn't feel as snappy, the movement doesn't feel as great, and I don't know if you can really necessarily fix that going from a alpha to full release, but we'll see what they'll do with it. It's just, kind of disappointing, I do appreciate the larger scale maps, but even those are not even close to as impressive as what they were achieving, you know, with the actual Modern Warfare release, and I think that's just weird that they weren't able to get that done. Still, they do have some neat mechanics in this one. The larger scale multiplayer has some potential with some more levels. It's interesting. Now, I'm really going to have to see what this offers when it comes to the campaign and the zombies mode, because those are probably going to be fun, and they're going to be where I spend most of my time. I'll play some of the multiplayer, but I don't know if this one will quite capture me like the others have in recent times. It's not quite what I had expected, but yet at the same time it's what I kind of anticipated. And I think this is going to end up being the Call of Duty Ghosts of this generational switch last time, where it's something we look back on as being like the title of now, but being that sort of stepping stone towards a better visual quality in the future. You're going to look at Call of Duty games that follow this, and you're going to be like, what were they doing with Black Ops? At least that's what I'm hoping in terms of visual quality. Now, I know there might have been some like pushed out schedules, some delays, and other things that were supposed to release, because you're supposed to see a Sledgehammer title come in here, but they canceled that one. Hopefully Sledgehammer gets another chance, because they made a really great Call of Duty World War II, in my opinion. I quite enjoyed that one. It was very different, which I appreciated. And then this one got slotted upwards, so I know that development time got changed. And I'm just kind of wondering maybe what would have been if this was just a next-gen offering only. It'll be neat to see if, you know, we have another Call of Duty that follows that also is, I'm talking about 2021, that also is cross-gen. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. Usually Call of Duty moves on and it stays on and maybe does like a bit of a legacy version. It'll be neat to see. For now, I'm interested in this one. I'm very curious to see how it's going to run across the different platforms. That's going to be my big thing here. You know, performance-wise, they definitely hit the mark. I find the health bars above the enemies interesting, but yet at the same time I could take or leave it. I don't really care too much, because it's weird, right? I don't think they've really had that in other Call of Duty titles. And it's just, I don't know. I'd also like maybe more options outside of the operators that are available. You see a lot of repeating characters, and it's kind of like, just tired of them. But for a beta, or sorry, for an alpha, I think it's a good taste of what we're going to get with this game. I don't know if I'm necessarily 100% sold on this particular release, but I am very much looking forward to, you know, reviewing it when it comes out, as is traditional on the channel for Call of Duty releases. I come in with an open mind and everything like that outside of the betas, so I think they'll definitely have a polished experience. I hope the visuals are streamlined, and hopefully we'll also be able to provide some, you know, cross-generational looks at the game, taking a look at the game on, you know, current-gen consoles, and then also the next-gen ones, too. You know, that might be something that would be fun to kind of compare the different qualities to see what exactly this is offering, but yeah, it's kind of neat. And it's weird as shotguns as secondaries. I think that's very bizarre to have. There's always been lots of complaints in Call of Duty whenever they do that sort of thing, so it's interesting that that would be the focus. It's got a decent selection of weapons. This map, to me, feels really silly, the one we're seeing right now with the... It's just kind of like, I want boats, and I want zip lines, and I want, you know, you zipping across boats, and it's just kind of like sillily set up, sillily, funny. But you get the sense of what I'm saying. It's just sort of a really bizarre map. And that's the other thing, too, is from the initial trailer, I thought, you know, all of these maps were going to be bigger ones, but, you know, a smaller number of maps. And then, you know, you get into those other smaller levels, and you're like, oh, what? These are just tiny ones. The vehicles are just how you, like, enter the map. And they don't even use the entering the map as part of the loading, which is funny. You have to load, and then you have to watch people enter the map on, like, dune buggies, which is just beyond stupid, in my opinion. And yeah, the loading is, like, really, really slow on this. I'm hoping the next-gen releases maybe help with that a bit, because it really takes a while. And then when you get the full, like, launch of the map, you're like, oh, okay, so I'm kind of whelmed by this. You know, it's just like the loading wise, you think you'd be seeing something of a more intense quality, but you're really not. And I don't know if I'm just thinking differently about past CODs, but they don't typically take that long to get rolling. But for an alpha, interesting. I like the slice of it. They're doing something different. you know, light vehicles on here, tanks and stuff like that. Tanks still can't knock down trees, which is hilarious, but yeah, you know, it's fun, but it's an alpha, so there's a lot for them to work on, and keep in mind that things will change over time. And yeah, it's Call of Duty. I look forward to covering it, you know, and showing different gameplay. And I like the zombies, so I can't wait to see what they've done with that. And the campaigns are usually really good here too, so I don't know if multiplayer will be really my thing here. We'll have to wait and see if that is the case. Otherwise, we're going to be sticking probably with Warzone to a degree. But yeah, that is the Black Ops Cold War alpha experience. Maybe we'll check out the beta too, who knows.
We lost B. Charlie secured. Hostile spy plane established overhead. Losing Alpha. Securing Foxtrot. Hostile RCXD in your AO. F secure.